All right, so welcome everyone. And I'm going to present some binders here today using screenshots. I think it's just going to be much quicker than trying to go through every binder myself. But I welcome all the nominees that are here to take the microphone and to do app sharing and talk us through what you did with the binders. We'd love to hear more about it. And then if there are any questions, as usual, during our webinars, we invite everybody to post questions in the chat or raise your hand and we'll give you the mic if you want to ask anybody questions about how they got their binders put together, and then we'll announce the winners. So this link down here is just a link to the top 10 binder. So you probably already have that, but it's there if you need it. And then for those of you who are speaking today a little bit about your binders, we just posted a few questions if you wanted some guidelines about what to talk about. Why did you create the binder? What purpose does the binder serve? Or what needs does it fulfill? How has the binder been useful? Have others found it useful? Why or how? And what tips do you have for creating a useful binder? That's always, people always find really cool ways of using binders, and Barbara and I and Dana always are interested to see what other ways that people have pushed the envelope with our LiveBinders tools. And then do you have any special plans on how you would be using LiveBinders for next year? What would you do differently? All right, so everything is in alphabetical order. And the first nominated binder, which I'm sure many of you are familiar with, is the 100+ free STEM resource binder by Latia Cooper, who is an technology integration specialist in South Carolina. And she's created this binder, I think, a few years ago. It has been very popular with Classroom 2.0. It's been shared all over the place on Twitter. So it's great to see that it got nominated for the top 10 binder. And one of the things that I really love is she's got every component that you can imagine that you would need for a STEM resource. And of course, everything in here is free. And one of my favorite sites that I just love is this one under engineering. It's an actual 3D live website where you can interact with the terrain. And so the idea here is, let me get rid of the happy face here, although I'm sure we all love the happy face, but let me try this pointer. Is that when you can pick a disaster like a hurricane or flooding like the one I've picked here, and then the kids have a certain time frame that they have to solve this problem. Where are they going to build shelters? Where is the best place to build shelters? So these kids have these great problem-solving tools all within an interactive space that you can stick into a binder, or you can point them to this website, and it doesn't require heavy download. But so a lot of these websites in her binder are just that useful and really interesting. Okay, and our second one here is a first grade binder that was put together by Melissa Williams, who is a first grade teacher at her school, and she really did this for her first grade team. And she couldn't be here, but she had a response. Unless you're there, Melissa, speak up. But what she wrote down here is, my first grade teaching team and I all use this binder every week throughout the school year. It helps allow us to not only teach the same concepts, but include media that reinforces the teaching of those concepts. It helps us to collaborate as a better team of teachers. So you can see that everything that they need to cover in their year is put into this binder. And they've got interactive sites. I clicked this one because I thought it was a really cool interactive on how to use possessive language. But they've got it broken down into science and math. They've got math games and brain games. So as a teacher, you can see collaborate on this binder as they see stuff that they can use in their classroom. This is the place that they go. So I thought it was a really, really nice way to put material together for a whole department. And here we have a really interesting binder. This is by Lori Hagbard. She has quite a few binders in here, and they're all really useful. This one in particular is for ADD and ADHD FAQs. And she writes, this binder is logically organized and comprehensive, providing information on symptoms, causes, diagnosis, treatment, classroom interventions, subdivided into specific areas of concern. It includes videos and graphics. And I went through this binder, and I was really impressed with the amount of information that she put into it herself, you know, typing in resources and breaking them down into different categories. If you are a teacher and you have students that have ADD or ADHD, or you suspect it, I would recommend this to be on everybody's resource shelf, because it's a great go-to binder for, how do I recognize symptoms? You can see she's got a tab on causes, she's got diagnosis. There was even a little, I think there was a little link that she had where you could do some tests to see if the student might, I mean, there's obviously a lot of testing you have to do, but if you have a suspicion, they give you she provides some quick testing that you can do to move forward and to see if there could be better treatment for the student. And then there's also in-classroom issues and interventions that she provides, which I think is really useful. And then we have number 4, which is by Toby Price. I don't know if Toby Price made it in the room, but he was at a Bible camp with his kids, and he really wanted to be here. But he created this binder really for his kids who are autistic, and so he is really invested in this binder and has gone out and looked at all of these great resources and was really kind enough to share it with everybody out there in the community. It's not just for him, but he's realizing that these resources could be really useful for a lot of people, not only other parents and students, but teachers as well. So if you're looking for iPad apps to help work with kids who are autistic, this is a great resource to look at. All right, the 5th binder, Auditory Processing Disorder. This, again, is nominated by Lori Hagberg, who created a very similar type of organized binder on auditory processing disorder. And she writes a very interesting comment down here. Let me share that with you. Oh, dear. Many in the education field are just becoming aware of students in general education classroom who have an auditory processing disorder. This binder of resources, including information on symptoms, diagnosis, and classroom interventions, also includes a video simulation to provide greater understanding that this learning issue is not a hearing problem, but a processing issue that teachers need to be aware of and responsive to in their classrooms. So again, as a teacher, I would say this is another one for the shelf. If you suspect that there are students in your classroom who are certainly capable of following instruction, but maybe are having a difficulty really understanding that there might be some auditory issues, and so she provides symptoms and diagnosis and treatment information, all organized within the single binder. Okay, and so the next one here is cell phones as instructional tools, which is such a hot topic now, and I'm so glad, Kim, you're here to talk about it. So I'm going to pass the microphone over to Kim. And Kim, I know you're familiar with Blackboard. Kim is a teacher, and she's also a co-host for Classroom 2.0 Live. She's very involved with technology and education, so I'm going to let Kim talk about her binder.
Great, thanks, Tina. I appreciate that. Basically, I created this binder with resources to support some of the presentations that I do at conferences and webinars on using cell phones in the classroom as an instructional tool to save funding for personnel and hardware by using the cell phone as an instructional tool, as an instructional device. And I put in research, handouts, all kinds of just tons and tons of things that I come across, articles and things that will support and show ways that teachers can use cell phones, whether the teacher only can use the cell phone or the students can use the cell phone, and ways that they can start the conversation with the administrators also to change AUPs and update AUPs to get the permission so that the students can also use the cell phones in the classrooms in addition to other mobile devices. So basically it's a support document per se to any of the conference presentations and webinars that I do. So that's why I created it. So thank you.
Thank you, Kim. So I had a question about the acceptable use policy really quickly. Do most schools know that they need to have this policy in place? Because I know bring your own device is a big deal. People are, having iPads in their classroom, but I'm not sure everybody's aware of this.
Most teachers know that there's a policy of whether they can use cell phones in the classroom or not, and they talk about it at the beginning of the school year. As to whether students can use them in the classroom and whether they're banned or not. Mm-hmm. That's a big deal with a lot of campuses. Basically whether they can just even have them on campus. So it's a big deal. And I know that they may not understand the AUP, but they know that students and parents have to sign an agreement to allow their students to be able to use the internet. And they may not know it as the acceptable user policy, but they know it as an agreement to be able to use the internet and the resources that the district provides. So it's part of educating parents as well as the teachers and the administrators. And it can be a long process, but it's part of a process that's definitely needed because most AUPs were created many, many years ago when cell phones were not as ubiquitous. And, teachers are hesitant to even bring it up to their administrators, but when they use it personally and demonstrate the power of what they can do with just one cell phone and the things that they can do to with just as a communication device with just their parents or their community, and then involve students eventually and get the conversations going. That's definitely a way to help get support for using cell phones and then mobile devices, and allow students to bring in their own equipment on a secure network and maybe not have access to all of the resources that the district networks do. Because I know in San Antonio, a lot of two of the huge districts here allow students to bring in their own computers and laptops and so forth, but they don't get access to all of the resources. They have a secure sectioned off part of the network. But they do get to bring in their own devices and get to use it, and with a special password, and it limits what they can do, but they can do it. And it does help with the technology funding and the budget. And when the students are funding basically the technology devices, you can funnel in that money with bringing in hardware for those students who can't afford their own laptops, and help supplement that way. So that's kind of what my goal is when I present, is to show what you can do, and then also to get the conversation going to supplement so that everybody can have access to a mobile device of some sort, whether it's a cell phone or a netbook or something, so that everybody can have access to these mobile devices.
Oh, I see. So that's really having this acceptable use policy is a way to create an agreement between the parents, the administrators, the teachers, and the students. I see. So it's really important.
it definitely is, and it's the legal way of allowing these things to come in and to, you know, providing for the budget to, and the network infrastructure and the teacher accountability and the student and the parent. It allows for the use of it to begin with, and there are a lot of branches off of being able to use it. And some of the AUPs are going from, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this. Instead of saying you can't do this anymore, they're saying you can do this, this is what you can do, and if it's not listed above, then you cannot do it. So they're going from a negative one to a more positive one. These are all the things that you can do on our campus.
That's great.
So that's one. They're kind of changing their thinking, and that's what's needed overall with the AUPs. It's just a revision and an updating and just a modifying to allow all kinds of devices to be used. It's just kind of a paradigm shift.
Yeah.
So
that's
thanks
great.
for letting me share.
Yeah, thanks, Kim. Thanks for answering my question. Okay, so next binder, Classroom 2.0 Live. So Peggy George, who helps us with our knowledge sharing webinars, and we share the space with Classroom 2.0 Live. They've been creating binders for a while now, I would say a few years, and they have a binder every month, and this one was nominated. So Peggy, I'm going to let you talk about it.
Well, I'm just so excited that Classroom 2.0 Live was nominated, and it was our May binder that got nominated, and hard to know why, but we are just very enthusiastic users of LiveBinders, and our approach is to create a new binder for every month, and we have a webinar every Saturday, so we may have 4 or 5 tabs within the binder for each month. And what we do is pull together all of the links that are going to be used by our guest presenter during the webinar, as well as links for their blogs and their Twitter and Facebook links and things like that. And then during the webinar, it's all done in Blackboard Collaborate, so people are sharing lots of their own links and ideas in the chat. And I'll go back into the LiveBinder after the webinar's over and add all of the links that have been shared in the chat. So what may start out as a binder with maybe 20 tabs, it may end up with a binder with 40 tabs. So we were thrilled when we saw that LiveBinders gave us the option for side tabs, because we had so many tabs that there wasn't any room left to view the pages that we wanted to feature. So we use the side tabs as our default, and we have been using LiveBinders for almost 3 years now, I think, and they just make it so easy for people to go back and look at the resources that are being talked about in the presentation and to really explore them in their own time. So there will be a LiveBinder on our public page for every month since we've started using it. So you are welcome to go back and browse through any of them. And then if you want to listen to the recording, you can just go to the website and click on the link and actually view the recording while you're exploring the LiveBinder. So we're excited to be nominated.
Thank you, Peggy. Very nicely done. Well, we love you guys, and we love all the binders that you've been putting together, and there's a shelf of it on our Learn More tab under events. I think we have a whole Classroom 2.0 library in there if you guys want to check out all the great speakers they've had on. Okay, well, I see that more people have signed on. Hi, David. Floyd, too. Actually, don't remember Floyd. Justin's away. Misa, you're here, so I'm going to try to get through these real quickly so we can get back to your binders. So we have number 8, Common Core Social Studies for Mathematics, and Danielle is here to present. And we're so glad she's here to talk about her binder. So I will hand over the mic. Hi, Danielle.
Hi, everybody. I'm really excited to be here with you. I'm going to go ahead and attempt to share my desktop so I can walk you around a little bit. Are you seeing the binder okay now?
Yes, but you need to bring it in front. There you go. You're all set.
Okay. Okay. Well, I put I guess first off I should say I'm the K-12 math consultant for my county in Michigan. I'm the math consultant for Kalamazoo-Risa. And I originally put the binder together for my own personal, well, professional use because as the Common Core was released and just a boatload of new wonderful resources started being freely shared, I was finding using bookmarks really cumbersome. And I wanted to find a better way to keep my stuff organized and have the added benefit or feature of kind of bookmarking files at the same time. So it was just serendipitous actually, because I was just looking for something that has the LiveBinder capabilities right when I stumbled across LiveBinders for the first time. I don't even remember how it happened. It just happened at the perfect time. So right off the bat, I started putting the binder together, and I also was happy when the side tabs got introduced because mine was overloaded as well. So I started just by using the main categories of resources that I had begun to pull together for my own use, but then also the items or resources I use in professional development sessions or coaching with teachers or working with principals. And then it's just kind of grown from there. So I started kind of in this top end here, just kind of basic information about Common Core state standards for math, and then helping people to better understand the content standards and what some states were doing, working to unpack those standards. And then going along with learning trajectories in mathematics and how each grade level really builds on the previous grade levels and sets the stage for the future grade levels. And then working on through content and through practice standards here, and really highlighting perseverance in the Common Core state standards for mathematics. So this has actually been one tab that a lot of people have been really excited about, working mainly off of Carol Dweck's mindsets work. And it just has grown, you know, people have made suggestions, I've added things. I've really most recently been spending some time on the parents section to help teachers and districts begin to better engage parents and guardians into the conversation around the Common Core, so that they can know what to expect and what to do, how resources to have at home to help out. Another couple tabs down here, the Math Task tab is one that's used a lot. I've spent a lot of time trying to pull the best of the best high cognitive demand math tasks here, and so teachers are coming here to find high quality tasks quite a bit. And then e-resources is another area that's been very popular, another tab that's been very popular. It's just e-resources is very loosely defined here, but it has a lot of virtual manipulative stuff in here, and other electronic resources for teachers. And then we're a Smarter Balance state, so I have everything about Smarter Balance near the bottom, and we're using dynamic learning maps for our assessments for the 1% with severe cognitive disabilities in the state. So in total, it was something for me that quickly grew, and I was happy to share and support anybody and everybody else wanting to find out more about the Common Core State Standards for Math, but also to start incorporating well-aligned resources.
There was a question, what is Smarter Balance?
Smarter Balance Assessment Consortium is one of the two consortia that we have now. The other one is Partnership for the Assessment of Readiness for College and Career, PARKK. And both consortia were funded just about equally through Race to the Top funding to develop next generation assessments to be administered starting in the spring of 2014-2015. And so a state that has adopted the Common Core is able to join one or more of the consortia. At this point in time, when all is said and done by the spring of 2015, you have to be in one of the two consortia. But right from the beginning, the state of Michigan went with Smarter Balance Assessment Consortium, so we'll be using all of their assessments for our high stakes or accountability assessments for federal accountability.
Wow, there's so much going on. It's amazing how you guys keep track of it, and of course, you putting it together in a binder must have taken hours. Hours.
Yeah, I have been able to spread it out, and it does need. I need to do some house cleaning. I really wanted it to be a place of some well-vetted, high-quality resources. So now, as more things come out, you know, I feel like I need to let some of the older stuff, maybe not as well-developed stuff, go by the wayside. So I'm going to be focusing this summer on really cleaning it up a bit and making sure it's not completely overwhelming when you come to it, because right now it's pretty jam-packed with stuff.
Oh, that's great. I'm so glad you got a chance to share it with us. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having me share it with you. And I think I will turn this over.
Okay. Let's see, I'm going to come back. Maybe I'll click on the whiteboard. There we go. Okay. Thank you, Danielle. Let's see. So I need to be a moderator again. Looks like I'm not a moderator because I got kicked out. Peggy, do you think you can put me back on? I'm stuck, not able to go to the next slide. There we go. Thank you. Okay, so we have Connecting Globally Using Web Conferencing Resources, and this is another binder that got nominated with Kim. Kim, would you like to speak briefly? I know we've got more than halfway to go, so if you want to talk briefly about your binder, that would be great.
Yes, this is one that I created, again, to support webinars and sessions that I've done about web conferencing, and to let teachers know that web conferencing is more than just meeting online and just having two classes get together just to chat. It's all the different things that you can do when you're in a web conference, and the different global projects that you can participate in around the world, synchronously and asynchronously. And I have a wiki and different research that goes along with it, and all the different projects that you can participate in, as well as the different web conferencing platforms that you can use that are free. You can also use some of the paid ones, but there are so many different projects that you can participate in on a variety of topics and grade levels and content areas. And I'm sorry about my dog. They're playing on the floor. But it was basically to support the things that we're doing and to let teachers know that there's more to it than just getting together to chat and talk online with each other.
Thank you, Kim. It's always interesting how technology is evolving the classroom. It's really like web conferencing is going to be the next classroom. But that's for another topic. Okay, so number 10, we have counseling resources, and Kim could not be here today, but she sent me something that she wrote up. She actually submitted a review on LiveBinders, and some of the things that she said was, firstly, I use it as an organizational tool for materials I need in my job assignment. She's a first-year counselor at her school. Secondly, I use it as a resource tool that enhances my counseling goals. And lastly, I intend to implement it as a collaborative tool to communicate with my fellow counselor peers. So she says here that the mission statement for her West Virginia counseling program is to develop students who are healthy, responsible, self-directed, lifelong learners who have the knowledge and global 21st century skills for living satisfying and productive lives. The 21st century skills listed are information and communication skills, where they can process information, have media literacy, visual literacy, as well as communications and technology literacy. So these include providing research tools such as word processing, email, presentation software, and the internet to access, manage, integrate, create, and communicate with others, so that students with these skills can articulate thoughts and ideas clearly and effectively through speaking and writing. And then she writes that in evaluating the Binder software tool, she believes that LiveBinders demonstrates a direct alignment with state goals, and it also models what is expected of students. Further, it allows Kim to focus and enhance work on our school counseling goals, which is to aid in the development of student skills in the areas of academic, career, personal, and social development. So she's done a great job of providing everything that her counseling team needs to address all the issues that are going on with the students. So they've got a tab here on anti-bullying resources. I like this one here where she's got printouts on on providing goals for yourself. Have you filled your bucket lately? She has videos and websites on self-controlled listening and other skills that the students will need in their classroom. And you can see she's got a bunch of empty tabs that she's ready to fill up. So you can see how this was really useful for her for this first year of counseling, and it's great that it has been nominated as a top 10 binder. Okay, next we have a digital toolbox by Angela Cunningham. I think she's also known as KY Teacher, and Angela Hamburg, I think is her other last name. But anyways, she has had, she's a history teacher, U.S. history AP teacher, and she's had great binders where she's taken U.S. history website content and organized it into her own textbooks. But this one is an interesting binder that got nominated because it's really providing all kinds of digital tools that teachers can use for the classroom to enhance learning, and she's just done a great job of organizing it. I have this example here where she's taken this kind of visual title to enhance every slide, and then you can see she's got it all nicely organized and into different subtabs, and all her binders kind of look like this. So if you're looking for a very compact digital toolbox, I would check out Angela's binder here. All right, in number 12, we have Dyslexia FAQs, another really useful binder created by Lori Hagbird. I don't know if she has dropped in, but again, she's broken it down just like her other binders into really useful tabs. An introduction to dyslexia, what are the symptoms, what are the causes, and then she's, in this tab in particular, I really liked, she talked about some tools that you can use in the classroom that can help with reading. And so there's this website that she's promoting that lets you do text-to-speech and audio-visual presentations. So really, again, another one that would be great for your teaching shelf from Lori. And number 13, our very own Dean Mance's ePortfolio binder has been nominated. Dean can't be with us today. He's at a softball game. But he has created this ePortfolio for himself, and it really became very popular as a great example of how to represent yourself in a dynamic way. So if you think about it, usually we just hand out a resume, which is, a bunch of an outline of all that you've done in text against white paper. But there's so much more to you, and I think that's what people really liked about Dean's binder, is that it's very colorful, not just from the color aspect, but from all the different websites that represent who he is. He's shared his bookshelf of the things that he likes to read. He's shared the school links of where he's gone to school. And this one I thought was really, what about me? It's got this kind of interesting visual chart of, where does he spend most of his time online, which I think is pretty cool. So this one was nominated for a top 10 binder. And then we have Evernote for Educators. Really, it's been a very popular binder on our site, and I'm so glad that Justin is here. If he can talk a little bit about creating the binder. That would be great. I'd love to hand the mic over to you. And if you want, Justin, you can do a quick presentation through app sharing if you want, or you can just talk to the slide, whatever you want to do. Shall we give you the microphone? Oh, it looks like you're on your iPhone. With that, how does that work?
Anyone hear
okay.
me? Hello?
Hi, Justin. Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Hey, how's everyone doing tonight?
We're doing great. I'm so glad you're here.
Awesome.
It's great to talk to you.
My wife and I just bought a new house, so we don't have internet, so I'm having to use my phone. So.
Well, that's the beauty of technology. That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, like I said, Evernote for Educators, it's just been a blast to put this thing together. And you know, when I first started putting this thing together, it's been more than a year ago. You know, I did not realize how many resources for this for Evernote is actually out there. Once you do a little bit of digging, and you know, I've blogged about it several times. There's been other educators out there that has been blown away about how they've been using Evernote, and you know, about how they're using it with their kiddos in the classroom, and even outside the classroom. I mean, the title for the LiveBinder is Evernote for Educators, but really it's for anyone interested in the Evernote, period. I mean, it goes so much further beyond the classroom, and then that's why I decided, you know, I put the general uses tab in there. There's a lot of different stuff in there that, you know, that you might find useful. I personally use it. That's what I wanted to do. You know, when I first started using putting together the LiveBinder, I started using the tool myself, and you know, once you engage more with the tool, you start finding out a lot more about it and stuff like that. So it's been a blast to put this thing together, and I've been coming across so many resources. I've been having to split the tabs into two, like in the classroom. I had to split that into two tabs. I thought the first one was kind of getting overwhelming. Start going cross-eyed if you cram too much into one tab, so that's why I split them into two. And of course with LiveBinder, they use that little LiveBinder tool that Tina and Barbara have. Tell you what, that's a lifesaver right there. It's pretty much doing the job for me, putting in LiveBinder, so I use that pretty heavily whenever I come across resources.
Well, I'm so glad you broke it up into the two tabs for the classroom, because it really has taken off for classroom use. That's a really good point. And the general use is obviously there because it's going to be our way of how we remember things, right? So you're going to be the go-to person on what's going on with Evernote, because we're going to rely on your binder to have the latest stuff on there, so we don't have to go search for it ourselves. So I'm glad you have that together. Hopefully that's not too much pressure.
No,
somebody was asking if you're going to be at ISTE this year.
No, unfortunately, I don't believe I'll be able to make it. You know, with work schedule the way it is going right now, I don't think so. But I'm certainly going to try to make it. But I don't think it's going to be a possibility this year.
Well, if you can't make it, I guess you're not too far away, is what Kim says. Maybe you can do some of the hangouts that they've got going, all the fun activities they have going at the end of the day, and hook up with everyone.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for sharing. It's good to hear your voice. It's always great to see your binders. You do such a great job.
Well, I appreciate that. Thanks for letting me share that. I appreciate it.
No, we love it. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you.
Hi, Susie. Susie
You too.
just walked in. All right. Take care. I love that you contacted us on the iPad. I think that's great.
Tina, we're not hearing you right now. Do you have your mic turned on? There you go.
I thought I had it on.
You got away.
The whole time.
Now you have
to say it all again. I got to say it all again. Well, Justin, I wanted to thank you, and I don't know if you heard that, but your binders are always great. So, so we're on number 15, and I was talking about Joy Kerr's binder that was nominated called Final Product Ideas for Mrs. Kerr's class. And you know, she has a binder coming up called Genius Hour, which has been very popular all over the Twitter sphere about how Genius Hour is taking over the classroom or is becoming a very popular concept with teachers. And I think this binder is a direct result of that for her class in particular, where the kids are on an assignment and they're researching, you know, different tools that they can use, different concepts. And this one here, you know, somebody created, I guess, trying to come up with cool product ideas. And so this one here is called Feeling Bummed, and maybe they were thinking about putting an app together on all kinds of quotes that could be inspiring. But it's a really interesting binder. I'm sure this was put together by a bunch of students, and it was nominated for the top 10. And the next one we have here is Forensic Science class, which I would love to talk about, but David is here. So I'm going to let David, David, if you're able to grab the mic, you can talk a little bit about how you organized the binder. I can totally tell that you started out with just, you know, the green tab being the first tab, and then as you went along month by month, you did it so that the most current month was the farthest to the left, the very first tab, which I thought was clever. But I'll let you explain your binder.
Okay, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you sound great.
Okay. Let me see if I can share my screen here. Looks like I can't, so I will go back. I'll just talk from your slide here. Yeah, I start with September and go all the way through May. I don't go through June because Forensic Science is a senior class, and by the middle of May we're done with seniors, and so that's why it ends up a month short. The green tab is general information for parents and students and all the different things you can see there. It's got the syllabus, our technology syllabus, digital device policy. I'm kind of a pilot for everything we do at the school, so I try out a lot of different things. You can see I have a class website, Edmodo page, and Facebook page, but they are all tied back to LiveBinders. My LiveBinder is the center of my class universe, and if something's posted on Edmodo, it directly relates back to a tab or a sub-tab in the LiveBinder. Same on the Facebook page. The Facebook page was created actually for another class I do, which is general chemistry. I have an autistic student that his world is Facebook, and if we gave him too many places to sign into or look at, it really confused him, so everything was mirrored on Facebook for him. And then Edmodo, everything's mirrored, and then my class website is also wherever they click on whatever we're doing, it will go right to the LiveBinder. So the LiveBinder is the center of the universe, and the other places are just backup sites, so a student can't say that the website was down or that Edmodo was down or Facebook was down, because it's all quadruple redundancy. If you were to go to this site, you probably wouldn't see a lot of stuff because we're a Google Apps for Education school. So a lot of the stuff that's embedded is you won't be able to see it because the students have to sign in, because I do all my entrance surveys and exit surveys rather than I don't like to call them pre-tests or post-tests because it stresses the students, and so if they see it as a survey, they don't have any stress. And then anything they turn in is through Google Docs through a shared folder, and so everything's that way. And I did it by month, and if you click on each month, it shows each day of the month. And so if a student's sick, they can go straight to the LiveBinder for the day they missed, and then they know what they missed, because every day I put a public agenda up so they can see what they were supposed to do for that day or what we did for the day. You can see on one of the tabs it says Snow Day Extra Credit. If there's a snow day, they can click on that. And if they do the exercise there, which is basically watch a TED Talk and then review it and then recommend it to students or not recommend it to students, they can boost their final grade in the class. And then the other two, once a week we have Lit Day, as we call it, where the students will read a chapter out of a book. This year it was a Poirot novel, Agatha Christie novel, and then they have to write on it because one of our two goals are reading and writing and data analysis. And so everything that we do is in the binder. I don't know if you have any questions. I'm going to, each year I create a whole new binder because I change my class every single year. So this binder is pretty much done, so I'll start a new one next year.
Well, I love the way you organized the binder, and I picked this tab for the screenshot because I think it's really important that parents can get involved as well. Like, I would love for my kids to have a binder that I could go to and find, what's being assigned, what can we do for extra credit, what did we miss, because I can't figure out the school's website. So having this here is really important. It's important because the kids become responsible, and I'm not sure I'm using the right word, but there's no excuse. It's all right there, and so they start taking ownership of their learning, and then knowing that the parents can be involved as well. So it's a great, it's for one class, but you can see it being used in many different ways. So thanks for sharing that, David.
Okay.
Oh, Peggy wants to know what do you do with the Snow Day tab?
Snow Day is, yeah,
really quickly though.
If they click on it, they can, it's a TED, they can go look to TED.com, look up a TED Talk, and I give them some different ones just as a starter. But some of the kids have found ones I use, and so they click it, they watch it, and they have to fill out a form. Why did they pick this one? What did they feel was good about it, and would they recommend it to other students? And so, or should I use it in class even?
It's almost like flipped learning.
Right. I flip teach, so
okay.
It's just a way for them on snow days, if they're up to it, they can do an extra credit, get them 2% a boost on their final grade at the end of the semester.
Absolutely, as a mother speaking. Okay, well, thank you, David.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so nominee number 17 was Genius Hour by Joy Kerr. We just saw her other binder, which I think was in reference to this binder. Most of you probably know about her Genius Hour binder, where she's just gathered all kinds of resources to try to encourage her faculty and her administrators to really adopt this idea of 20% of the class time is spent getting the kids to come up with ideas for learning. And I like this particular tab that she's selected where it's introduce yourself. I mean, so much of, I think, what goes on with kids and learning is they don't get a chance to say, here is who I am, and make their mark in the classroom. And I think that could be really important for learning when kids are able to articulate about who they are and stand up in front of class and learn how to do that. So I really, in particular, like this particular tab. And we have here nominee number 18, Grant Writing. And this is by Alicia Vanderbrook, and she created a little video presentation that takes about a minute. Do you have that link to share with everybody, Peggy, or should I try to find that link? Let me see here. Oh, I have it right here. So if you guys want to take a look at it really quickly, I will put it in the chat window and I can watch it along with you. Oops. Is everybody finished listening to it? Hopefully everybody grabbed the link and was able to play it on their own since we couldn't play it over the webinar. But what a great binder that she put together. And I, in particular, did this screenshot with the grant rubric because, you know, it's very hard to write a grant. And so having her actually put it into a table format for you so you could do your checklist. Okay, did I get the title right? Did I meet this criteria? Is so useful, and I can see why it got nominated. So hopefully if you guys are in the process of writing grants, this will be something you can refer to. All right, so the next one is integrating iPad apps, and this is by Ginger Lumen, who is, I think, the co-creator, whoops, did I do that? Co-creator of Life Practice project-based learning models with Kevin Honeycutt, and she's created a whole bunch of great binders, and this one was nominated for its resources of iPad apps that can be used with high school content. So she's broken that down into college and career readiness apps to iPads in school districts, music, arts, PE, everything that you could possibly imagine. So if you're a high school looking to integrate iPads into your curriculum, this has got to be the binder on your list. All right, so nominee number 20 is Learning Disabilities. Again, this is another one nominated by Lori Hagbert, and it's another great binder on learning disabilities and how do you transition to college. And you know, she brings up some really good points here, another great resource. But this particular tab caught my eye, which is, you know, what's the difference between being in high school and moving into college? You know, there are some pretty big differences. One is that the high schools are, you know, going to be tracking your kids and helping them with their learning disabilities. And in college, the kids are pretty much on their own. They've got to find their own resources. So it's really good that she broke this out, and it makes it really clear how you can be successful in college, and where you can find the resources for your kids and for you as a student. Nominee number 21 is Linwood Middle School. This is a binder created by Amy Morrell for her social studies department, and they work together to share resources together for their department. So let me see. I don't know, Amy, if you're here, can you raise your hand? She nominated this binder, and she writes, this LiveBinder is a complete resource for middle school social studies teachers. It includes curriculum guides, web resources for each grade level to utilize, links to learning strategies, and other LiveBinders as well. She has links to online tools related to instructional technology. So this has really been a useful tool for her department, whether it's grade 6, 7, or 8. You can see down here that she has uploaded some guidelines, curriculum guidelines put together by her school, so that the teachers can refer to it quickly. I mean, imagine it being on a website somewhere, the school website, but having it in the binder here that they can refer to pretty quickly as they're preparing material for their course is pretty useful for them as a group. So this one was nominated. And we have, we're getting close to the end here, nominee 22, which is by Mickey Mueller. It's a conference binder actually about LiveBinders. So Mickey, do you want to take the mic and present your binder for us?
Sure. Hopefully you can all hear me. I've had to switch computers since we first started.
You sound great.
Okay, perfect. All right, so let's see if I can't get this to screen share here. Okay, and I'm probably better known as Free Technology Tools for Teachers. That was my binder that was nominated in the contest last year and won. And I was actually surprised that the NBEA LiveBinder was selected, but basically I put this together. I was asked to, I'm a former business teacher. I currently work as the educational technology facilitator for our school district, and as a former business teacher, I was asked to present at the National Business Education Association annual convention in Atlanta this spring. And one of the presentations that they asked me to do was on LiveBinders as a teaching tool and how teachers could use that in their classrooms based on the success of my Free Technology Tools for Teachers LiveBinder. So I put this binder together for the people that were in the session to be able to utilize and look at after the session. And basically what it does is it just takes you through how to create a binder. And I tried to put in some tips and some tricks and some things that people can use, just some things that I think are important that you should have in a binder. For example, how to start off the first tab in your binder, some tab tips. I focused a lot on embedding content, for example, embedding YouTube videos versus just sharing, using with the LiveBinder tool. And since I created this binder, one of the features that I really like about LiveBinders is the ability to copy a binder. And so since then, I have copied this binder, and I used it for a session that I did in June this year. And I'm also using the same content for our Summer Tech Challenge that we're doing for our staff. So I love the copy feature because then I just copy the binder that I already have and I change the colors based on the clip art or the theme that I'm using. I think other people have found it useful. I've done lots of training on LiveBinders now, and I have to thank the Twitterverse because that's how I got it. My LiveBinder was in the contest last year, and the reason why I actually joined Twitter is because of that LiveBinder ending up in the top 10 last year. So I love LiveBinders. I find new uses for them all the time. I've got some great ideas based on the binders that were nominated for this contest. There's so many different things that you can do with LiveBinders. I'm hoping I'm going to have it catch on with my school district as well. And just a whole bunch of different things that you can do with LiveBinder. So I love this tool. It is always one of the tools that I share no matter what kind of a presentation that I'm doing, whether it's Google or anything else. I always talk about my LiveBinders. So thank you guys for putting together such a great tool, and keep up the good work.
Thank you, Nikki. That's so nice. When I was going through your binder for the presentation today, I was so impressed that I actually shared your binder with a new user. So I thought it was much more contextual than one of our binders. So thank you for that. And I'm so glad that we got you on Twitter because of the contest.
Thank you.
It's a great place. It's a great place to be for teachers. Okay, so we are down to our 23rd nominee, and this is the NCES 5th Grade Social Studies binder by Doreen Bates, who could not be here. But she says, I have used the LiveBinders with teachers this year, and they have all found it very useful. One teacher actually used it to teach her North Carolina Culture and Symbols unit. So really, it was more for her department to, they have to keep track of all these resources, and so they organized them. Obviously, it looks like it's by Common Core standards is what I'm thinking those titles mean, but maybe not. But she's obviously got all kinds of resources in there. There's something on Civil War music. So if a teacher is going to do a project in class, they just refer to the same binder and can get all the resources that they know they've already vetted for their particular curriculum. So this is why she has nominated this binder for the top 10. And then I noticed that Melissa is here. She is the teacher for the 1st grade binder, and I'd like to give her an opportunity to talk about the way that they've used LiveBinders for her department. Hopefully I did you justice earlier, but I'm going to give you an opportunity to speak if you'd like. All you have to do is, if you have your mic, click on the talk button up at the top. So let me know if you'd like to speak for a little bit.
Okay. Can you hear me okay?
Hi, yes, you sound great.
Oh, great. I'm on my smartphone, and this is my first time on Blackboard, so thank you for sticking me here at the end in here. I started using LiveBinder because my 1st grade team, we have a smartboard that we share in a very old building, and we share it on a rolling cart. Yes, we roll it back and forth into each other's rooms. And so we only get it about a day and a half a week. And we like to share what we have found so that we can have the 1st graders that we teach in all of our rooms learn the same content in the same sorts of ways. And we're not reinventing the wheel in our own rooms. So we started to at first just save things on the computer that wasn't working for us to really find things well. We would write them down on sticky notes and send them over to each other that way. That didn't work out. We would email links to each other. That wasn't the best way to share either. So I finally found LiveBinders, and thank goodness, because it's really been a lifesaver for us. And I wouldn't want to teach without LiveBinders with a team of other teachers anymore. And I have some work to do still on this binder. I've only been doing it, putting things into the tabs since, actually I can't remember. I think it was partway through the first semester last year. So it's just a way for us to really help each other to be better teachers and to collaborate better.
I love your story, Melissa. It's a great story. And I love that you're calling on your smartphone, too. Although there is an echo when I speak.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. You're totally fine. But I think that the struggle that you portray in your classroom resonates with a lot of people, and telling the story with the Post-it notes and the rolling whiteboard really says a lot about how much teachers really work hard to work with the technology that they have to be connected and stay on the same track. So, and I'm glad to hear that this binder is helping you guys do that. That's great, and no wonder it's been nominated, because it's been so useful for you guys as a team. What I liked about it was you had some documents in there, but you also had some cool interactives, and that's why I, in particular, picked this tab, because you're talking about language skills, and I had never seen an interactive like that before, and I thought, wow, that's kind of cool, and it was a cool visual as well. But I hope you continue to use it. This is great, and I'm so glad that you were able to join us.
Thank you.
Okay, hopefully nobody paid attention to that last slide. All right, so I think without further ado, Dana, do you want to try to come on? Dana is going to announce in alphabetical order the winners of the top 10 binders.
Yes, I am happy to do so. So congratulations to all the 2013 winners. All of the binders are amazing, and I'm just so I just really appreciate how many practical uses that there are for them. So without further ado, I will announce the 2013 binder winners. They are, in alphabetical order, the 100+ STEM websites and web tools for teachers by Letitia Cooper. The next is Apps for Kids with Autism by Toby Price. The next is Cell Phones as Instructional Tools by Kim. And Classroom 2.0 Live, May 2013. Yay. Let's see. The next, sorry if I'm going too fast for you, Tina. Common Core State Standards for Mathematics by Danielle. I'm so glad so many of our winners were able to speak about their binders tonight. That was really cool. The next is Digital Toolbox by Angela Cunningham. The next, Evernote for Educators by Justin Stallings. Next is Genius Hour by Joy Kerr. Nine is Grant Writing for Librarians and Teachers And this name I'm going to have trouble with. We'll call her Alicia Sandenbrook. And NBEA 2013 LiveBinders as a Teaching Tool by Mickey Mueller. Congratulations again to all of our winners. Your binders are fantastic.
So I think I noticed that we wrote on the chat wall that we should have an award for all 23 binders, because I think that as we went through them today, they are all great binders. But alas, there are only top 10 voted here, and here they are. But we have awards for all of you. So for those nominees, we have a special gift, and that is a Spotlight bookmark of your binder. And you also can have a top 10 nominee decal that can be placed on your website. And top 10 winners also get a Spotlight bookmark of your binder, and they get a top 10 badge that is attached to your binder. So I'll show you right here. These are what the bookmarks look like. They're really popular with teachers who are looking for resources. So we've handed them out at various conferences, and these are the first things people grab instead of all the other swag that we have offered. These are the most popular. So your binder will be featured just like this with some color. We will ask you just to make sure that your binder cover is printable, copyright printable. If not, we'll create a Wordle file for that. And all of you will be getting a Spotlight bookmark. And then to show you what, for the top 10 winners, your tag will attach to your binder like this. So even when it's on a shelf, it'll have the top 10 tag. And then when it's inside the binder, there'll be a tag right next to the useful icon on that page. So congratulations, everyone. Your binders were great, and we will be getting in contact with all of you to get binder cover information. We're going to get all of your addresses because we will send you bookmarks. We'll send you a couple hundred, or if you need more, we'll send you more, because you all did a great job, and we want you all to walk away with pride on your binders. And we will get to work right away getting the top 10 badges on those for our winners so that you can proudly display your binders on your shelves. And I'm going to make the top 10 shelf public pretty soon, so that's out there for people to see. We'll be hosting that on our Learn More Top 10 tab on our website. And then also, if you want to get a hold of all the other binders, we also have a 2013 nomination shelf that we put together. And I believe that is already public. And then just a quick announcement for those of you who, all of you pretty much know how to build a LiveBinder, but we do have a workshop session at ISB San Antonio, even though we can't be there. J2 Training, Joan and Janet will be there doing a workshop, so I thought I would mention that for them. And then give a very special thanks to our friends at Classroom 2.0 and Steve Hargadon, who allow us to host our webinars on their Collaborate platform. And especially to Classroom 2.0 Live, Kim Case, Lorna Constantini, and Peggy George, who are always there to help us out and make sure that we're presenting properly with everyone. So thank you guys very much. So I'm going to let you guys all go and enjoy your summer, and thanks so much for spending your evening with us. Remember, when you click out of the webinar platform, just ignore the Classroom 2.0 Live survey. It's just automatically going to pop up for their normal survey class, so you just ignore it, and we will see you next time. So we'll get in contact with you all by email, and thanks again so much for participating. It's been great for Barbara and I and Dana to see all of the great binders get highlighted.